Hi guys, and welcome to my second knitting podcast. I'm very excited to be doing this one, particularly because I have a lot more to show you than I did in my first one. I don't know why I decided to just go off of a week of knitting and then try and do my very first podcast with that. Since then I have had 2 weeks, so I've kind of gone a little bit crazy, and I'll probably kind of even out a little bit here. I think after my first podcast, I just got really excited and kind of did a little bit more than I maybe would have otherwise. So I'm just gonna get right into my finished objects. I do have 2 of them, and I thought I would have more, but I ran into a couple snags. So the first one is my sweater, and what is this called? This is just a cable collar pullover by Yokohata. I don't know. It was in the Fiber Company Erin Moore yarn in the color St. Clair. I love how this turned out. It's actually a lot softer after blocking it, and I was really surprised. This is the first time that I've actually blocked anything, because I have typically just worked with acrylic, and acrylic you don't really need to do a lot of that. But wow, it made such a difference. I love how it turned out. And the ribbed details here, actually I'm gonna bring you to the bottom here, they just look so much better blocked than they did even in that last podcast. So yeah, really love how this turned out. Obviously, I can't wear this for a while because it's still summer, and I think it was, what, 85 outside today? Oh, and I live in Minnesota, so the summers here, they get warm-ish, and they get really warm for us, but it's more the winters that we have to concern ourselves with, and that will be coming up soon. Oh, and I just have to say, this summer has been so hard on me, just because I am more of, a typical Minnesotan. I like to have kind of a cooler environment, and I have not had air conditioning anywhere. So our house is not air conditioned. We do have a couple window air conditioners, but just with the price and everything, we really only like to have them running at night. So we have one in this room, which is Evelyn's nursery, and then we have one downstairs in our bedroom, so we have those running at night, and that's it. So yeah, our house is not air conditioned. My car, the air conditioning went out this summer, so I haven't had any in there. And then at work, I'm a museum director, if you guys didn't know. Just during the summers, it's a local county museum, and the building that it's housed in is 117 years old. It was built in 1900. And so that one, it had heat, I should say. There was a boiler room in there at one point, but we don't have that anymore. So the building doesn't have any form of heat. And in addition to that, it also doesn't have any air conditioning. So yeah, I've spent my entire summer just sweating like crazy, but at least it's August now, so we've only got a couple more months before it gets a little cooler again. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Anyway, let's keep going. So the other finished object that I have is where I kind of had a little bit of a hiccup. This is the Lear Cardigan by Lisa Richardson. I'd mentioned that I was going to be knitting this for Evelyn. It turned out so well, and I guess I can't really say it's finished because I didn't put buttons on it yet. There's supposed to be a line of buttons here, but yeah, haven't done that. This actually was really cool. So it's got a ton of cabling all over it, and each of these cables has a little eyelet in the inside here, and I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see that, but there's not a buttonhole row on this cardigan. All you have to do is take those little eyelets and use those as buttonholes, which I thought was really nice. And I did try this on her this morning. This is the 12 to 18 month size, and so she's definitely not big enough for that yet. She is still in like 6 to 9 month clothes, and she can still fit into 3 to 6 month, I think. But yeah, this is way too big for her right now, but in a couple months, I'm sure she will fit into it just fine. So the hiccup with this, it calls for 4 skeins of the Rowan yarn, and I used the Pure Wool Superwash DK yarn in gold. This color is discontinued. I found it on Fiber Wild, I think, the website. which I can link that below if you would like to see that. It was on sale, which is nice. But yeah, so it asked for 4 skeins, and this went just over 4. Like, there was maybe this much of a sleeve that I had to do, and then the little collar, and that was it. So it was so disappointing to get that far and then be like, oh, I ran out. So I had to wait to get that yarn back and then finish that up. But yeah, I did get it done, and I really, oh, I love it. And this color is just so pretty on her. I don't think I can pull it off, but yeah, she definitely can. Oh, I'm gonna go back to my other sweater for a second. I did want to mention, I know this color, it doesn't necessarily go with my skin tone either. I mean, you can kind of see white on white, basically. But what I like to do, especially in the winters, is I wear a ton of scarves. And so if I have like a red or a brown or something like that on my neck, then that kind of creates a little bit of a, I don't know what it would be called. You can hear my cat. Anyway, it breaks things up a little bit, so it doesn't look quite as harsh as it does here. So yeah, I did want to mention that. But anyway, yeah, so those are my finished objects. So let's move on to works in progress. So my first works in progress is one that I showed you last month, and it's this shawl that I got from my knit crate. And this is in Artisan Yarns Saka Paka, I think it's called, in the colorway Blueberry. And this colorway is exclusive to Knit Crate. I have to say, I really do like that subscription box. This particular pattern is the Bluebell Shawl by Melinda Meeser, and I actually didn't realize that there are 3 different sections to this. I don't know why I didn't look at the picture closer, but anyway, last I'd shown you, I was right here. I've got a little pine cone progress keeper there. I don't know how well you can see it. I actually just made that, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah. Oh, I've got a hair on that. Ooh, anyway, so yeah, that's where I was last time. And so I've gotten all of this leaf lace sort of detailing done, and then it goes into this kind of cool, I don't know how you describe it necessarily, but there are a ton of eyelets here, and then it's kind of incorporating more of a stockinette stitch. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but yeah, I actually got a lot more done on this than I'd anticipated, once again, because I had to wait for that other yarn. But yeah, I really like it, and I think it'll be kind of fun. It is huge. I did not realize that it was going to be as big as it is. I mean, I'm not even done, and it's, you know, that long. So yeah, it's been really quite fun, and like I said, this pattern is intense because it goes through every single row. Every single row you're supposed to do something different. And I have had to fudge on a couple of little areas, nothing big or anything where it would affect the pattern. So honestly, I don't think I could tell you where I changed it up a little bit, but yeah. So anyway, there's that. And then this is another one that I thought I was going to have done. Well, I didn't think I was going to have that shawl done, but this is one that I did think I was going to have done. So this is, oh, what is it called? I've got my little notes here. Rise Bed by Jacqueline Cieslak? I'm not sure. I have it on my Ravelry account. I can link that below, or I'll just link the pattern below as well. It was a free pattern, and this is in the Lion Brand Hometown USA in the colorway Chicago Charcoal, and this is a big. So this is going to be Cricket's bed, and it's not quite finished. I've been working on stuffing this outer portion here, and then there's a pillow that's going to go in the center that I haven't done yet. But the place that I've been getting this yarn is now out of this exact yarn, which I think is okay because I was kind of thinking I might do a different color for the inner pillow, but I haven't quite decided. So yeah, I've been working on stuffing this bad boy, and the skein of yarn is actually right here. This isn't fluff, but Evelyn was kind of playing with it, so I wanted to hide it. Yeah, so that's how far I am. And one tip, if you guys are getting into knitting or like sewing stuffed animals or anything like that, don't get the actual stuffing because it is expensive. I actually just get like a cheap pillow from Walmart. I think they run like $1.80, something like that, and you can use that. So yeah, this is stuffed with an old pillow, which has been nice. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. Joe was giving me so much crap about this because it's like, why are you making a cat bed? That's the weirdest thing. But yeah, then he saw it actually like taking form and he's kind of, well, I gotta show people that because that's actually really cool. So yeah, really happy with how that guy is turning out. And you can see him. So I'm gonna move that down here. Okay, so the last thing that I've been working on is actually a sewing project. And like I had mentioned in my last podcast, I want to get to the point where Joe and Evelyn and I are basically in a capsule wardrobe that is completely handmade. And so not everything is going to be knit. And so I'm kind of trying to get into sewing, but kind of gradually getting into it because I would not consider myself the best sewer, and I really do prefer wearing knits, which are notorious for being difficult. So yeah, I'm just kind of slowly getting back into all of that, and so I thought I would make a purse first. So this is from Boxwood Avenue, the blog, and it is just a DIY leather tote. It's a faux leather that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I could have finished this, but I didn't. So basically it's just a big old tote bag. And it's kind of cool. The faux leather that they have at Hobby Lobby right now is kind of a fleecy backed fabric. So yeah, kind of cool. And then this also has a little tassel that you're supposed to attach to it, or you can attach to it. And of course I wanted to do it. So here is the little tassel. I love that thing. So basically it's just going to fold over a little bit here. Let me see if I can do it. So basically it just, yeah, gets folded over so that it's a nice edge, and then the tassel goes on one of the sides. So yeah, next time I'll have this done and I can actually show you what it looks like a little bit better. I am really excited about it, but yeah, that's what I've been working on. So I do have a few things that I've been kind of looking at doing next. And as I mentioned in last podcast, I really want to do the Redford sweater by Julie Hoover for Joe. And I'm so excited about that one. I actually just ordered the yarn on that one a few days ago. It's technically here, but I can't show the yarn to you because our mailbox was too small for all of the yarn, so it's at the post office, and I didn't find out until Saturday, so I couldn't get a hold of it. But anyway, yeah, I do film these like a week in advance, if you were wondering. So this is on a Monday. I haven't been able to pick it up yet, etc. Yeah, anyway, I'm not sure if that made sense, but I had such a dilemma for picking out the color, and I was looking at, I think it was called Bird Book, which is a really pretty like forest green sort of color, and then I thought of looking at, oh, what it was called, oh my gosh, Cast Iron, there we go, which is a dark gray with like white specks in it. But we finally decided on Old World, which is a dark blue. It wasn't quite as blue as the hat that I showed in last podcast, which I did frog, by the way. I haven't redone it yet, but I think I figured out a way that I want to do it. So that'll be coming at some point. But anyway, yeah, so it's a really dark blue, and then it's got like pops of red and purple in it, which is, I'm really excited to try it out and see it and touch it and feel it and all that. So yeah, that's one that I'm going to be working on next, especially since I did finish mine and Evelyn's sweaters. And then I also decided on a colorway for the boho blush shawl or wrap or whatever you would call that. I've been watching a lot of podcasts, and every single one, it feels like, has done that wrap or shawl or whatever you'd call it. And so I'm so excited to do it. I haven't gotten the yarn for that one yet, but I'm going to do it in the Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the color Tart, which is a dark red. So really excited to get the yarn for that and start working on it. But before that, I do have another project that I want to do, and they are the French Press Felted Slippers by Melinda Bernardi, I think, in Patton's Classic Wool Worsted. And so it's just a really light gray here, and it's called Gray Mix. Just looks like that. It's just 100% pure new wool. I do have 2 skeins of this, but when I went and got it, I had Evelyn with me and was like carrying her, and she grabbed one out of my hand. So it's not quite as pretty as this one, but yeah, I'm really excited to do that. They, like I said, they're felted slippers, and I haven't done any felting since college, I think. I've only done one project that was felted, and it was a purse. It turned out really well, but I haven't done any felting since. So I'm really excited to try and do that again. Hopefully it'll turn out well. I don't know. Yeah, so those are the specific projects that I'm kind of not even necessarily dream knitting. I mean, they're going to happen. I just have to get to them. So a couple other things that I wanted to kind of talk about, I guess, talk through a little bit, kind of like when I was talking to you guys last week about Joe's sweater and the color and trying to figure out what I wanted to do there. So we have a wedding coming up in October, and since that's kind of the fall wintry sort of months, then I want to make myself a dress for that. And so I've kind of been looking for a sewing pattern for a dress, and I have not been able to figure out what I want to do with that. So I'm not sure if I want to go with like a dark red, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards, or if I want to do a black dress, which of course is, you know, a staple. I mean, I'm probably going to have a black dress in my capsule wardrobe because you can't go wrong with a little black dress. They're perfect for pretty much any occasion, except I'm not sure about a wedding. I don't know that I want to wear black to a wedding, which is so weird because for mine and Joe's wedding, I think my mom and possibly his mom were wearing black because it was just that kind of an occasion. Like, they asked if it was okay if they wore black, just because that was kind of the vibe. So yeah, it was okay for ours, but I don't know that it would be necessarily okay for these guys. We're not like super duper close with this couple, if that makes sense, but yeah, I still do want to look nice. So if you guys have any suggestions on a pattern, I think I'll probably do like a dark, deep red sort of color for that one. But yeah, if you have any ideas, certainly let me know, and let me know about like places to get fabric, because the places that I typically go are Hobby Lobby and Joann's, and I know that they don't have like the nicest fabrics. I know that they're good, but you know, I don't know. I'm still getting into this whole world, so if you guys have any suggestions or anything, definitely let me know in the comment section. So that's my dress dilemma. And then what was the other thing that I was going to ask you about? It was something with knitting. Oh, actually, it wasn't going to be something I was going to ask you about. I was going to kind of just talk with you about it. So since I've been watching more podcasts, I've been seeing, oh, what are they called? Afterthought heels and thumb holes and different, just afterthought things, which is not a concept that I'd ever come across. So I really want to do some afterthought heeled socks now. And I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with that, like what pattern to follow, and the yarns that I want to pick, because I do have a few yarns that I could play with, and that is something that I'm going to definitely need for, you know, capsule wardrobes and everything, our socks. But we do also have socks, so I don't feel like I'm pressed to do those. Mostly I just make myself socks if I feel like it. So yeah, I haven't really gotten very far on that. I know that I want to do it. So yeah, I'm looking for, looking at how to figure out how to do an afterthought heel. Does that make sense? I don't know. So yeah, speaking of podcasts, I did want to mention a couple that I've been watching. I've been really getting into podcasts recently, and so there are 3 that I wanted to mention. The first one is a homespun house, which I have been loving. And then I've also really been enjoying the Little Tailoress, who does a lot of sewing as well. And then Squirrel Pie Productions. And Squirrel Pie Productions is a little smaller, so I would definitely check her out. She is just so cute. So, I mean, yeah, you should check out all of them if you haven't, but yeah, those have been my favorites for this month. So that's pretty much it as far as like the standard sort of finished objects, whips, dream knitting, podcast favorites, you know, that whole thing. So I wanted to just chat with you a little bit. And one of the questions that I got in my last podcast was about how to keep your hands from hurting. And I'm so sorry, I am not going to be able to tell you a whole lot about that just because I really don't deal with that. I do have a fairly high pain tolerance. I had my gallbladder taken out over Memorial Weekend, and I had several of the people that were working on me tell my husband that he couldn't really gauge what my pain was based on necessarily what I would tell him. So they would give him like signs to look for if there were complications and different things like that. So yeah, I have a pretty high pain tolerance, and I just don't really pay attention to that kind of thing. I do also think that it has something to do with the way that I knit. I don't remember what style I learned or anything, but I do know that I don't really do a whole lot of movement with my hands. It kind of just stays, you know, right in one place. I want to say that it's continental knitting, but I'm not 100%. So yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the way that I knit. I don't do a lot of like, my wrists don't really move a whole lot. I do know that there are stretches that you can do to help, but I don't know what they would be. Definitely check out Google for that. I'm so sorry that you can hear my cat. He's outside the door and he wants to be inside, but I know as soon as I let him in here, he's gonna want to be outside. So it's just one of those things that, yeah, it's just gonna have to be how it is. But yeah, so I know that there are stretches and exercises that you can do specifically for knitting. I'm just not 100% as to what those are. I wonder if a brace would help as well. I know a lot of my friends that are pianists will have problems with that, and then they'll wear like wrist braces and that'll help, but I'm not really sure. Sorry about that. So yeah, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this channel and kind of what I see happening with it. So for those of you that have been around here for longer than this podcast has been in existence, thank you so much for sticking with me. But you probably came here because of like beauty, fashion, and DIY, that kind of thing. That's how my channel started. And I have talked to Joe about this quite a bit and kind of what I want for this channel. And I have really been enjoying knitting for such a long time that I think I might kind of focus more on that. And then if I do other videos, they'll still be on this channel, but they probably won't be as frequent, which I know is such a silly thing to say because for the past year or so, I have not been consistent anyways. So it's not like this is a new shocking revelation. It's just that I'm actually saying, you know, I might not be doing as many beauty and fashion sorts of videos. I might do some, but I might not as well. And once I made that decision, I have felt so much less stressed. Like, just the idea that I can knit, which is something that I do regardless, and I can hang out with my family, do this every couple weeks. So I've kind of got all of my bases covered. I've got my filming enjoyment, I've got my knitting enjoyment, I've got my family. It's really, really nice. I really like that a lot. So yeah, basically I'm going to slow down on the beauty videos, but I'll probably still put one up every once in a while, maybe like a little Sephora haul here and there, possibly a get ready with me every once in a while. Speaking of which, I do want to do this look here. I really, really like it. It's using Beauty and the Beast by Lorac majority products. So yeah, really, really liking this. I had it on my Instagram and I had a lot of people that also liked it. So I'm hoping to do that at some point, possibly a favorites video here and there, I don't know. We will see what happens, but yeah, this will probably turn into a majority knitting channel, but yeah, that's kind of what I've got so far. Do I have anything else? Right now, my husband and my daughter are in the living room downstairs, and I kind of want to go and hang out with them because I am still working at the museum. We do close down on September 30th, so then I have the whole winter off, which is amazing because, okay, before Evelyn was born, I'm going to go off on a little tangent before I leave. But anyway, before Evelyn was born, I was having such a dilemma as far as what I wanted to do as far as work, because I love working at the museum. I love it. It's my favorite position that I've ever had. And so it was kind of one of those things like, well, do I want to work or do I want to be a stay-at-home mom? I don't know what I want to do. And now that she's here, I've realized that, you know, I really have the best of both worlds with how my job is set up right now, because since there's no heat in the building, I'm there during the summer, and then as soon as September 30th hits, then I'm a stay-at-home mom until May. So I can do both, basically, which is awesome. But anyway, since it's still museum season, I have today with my entire family. So I am going to get going and just kind of hang out with them. I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. I've really been enjoying doing these, and I'm looking forward to next week as well. So yeah, I'm going to get going, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!